Alright guys, today's video is just going to document my own thoughts in my mind that I have of the Proton X50 that I went to see in person yesterday. So let's begin. Now first things first, let's talk a bit about the design. Now when you see the design on pictures, on the website and all that, you might think, whoa, it has a huge mount at the front. But when I actually went to the showroom and see it in person, I'm like, oh, it's actually looking pretty elegant and very premium. So there was a time where it was actually side by side with the previous Gen X50, and right away I felt that the new X50 looked so much more refreshed. Yes, the big mount in the front, the big gap is not for everybody, and some might think it's a bit too aggressive. I find a couple of those fake vents not very offensive as well. It's not something that I'm going to be looking at all the time, but overall, I think I kind of like the design. Both the front and at the back, they look pretty cool. Now, today's video is more of talking about the interior. Stepping into the X50, the new version, whoa, the quality of the interior is really amazing. All those soft touch materials, the ones in red, they actually feel a bit squeegee, so you can actually push your fingers in, and I mean that in a good way because it actually feels very plush, like Proton has really stepped up their quality and put those in, so I like it. I also like the fact that the entire interior is very minimalist. You have the huge screen in the middle. Comparing that to my own G20 sedan, this huge screen is just, night and day. Furthermore, you also have your CarPlay, which it supports, which I think is awesome as well. Moving down, you have the aircon vents below the screen. The good thing is that you'll be blowing against the phones, which you can put in that very nice wireless charging pad. Now, unfortunately, the charging pad is only for the driver's side, so your passenger don't get to charge his or her phone. And I noticed that the pad itself, that small column over there, is actually quite shallow in space. So I don't know, if you are driving like really hardcore and all that, moving right to left, will the phone actually fall off? Now going down further, you do have your cup holders. So if you can't put your keys on top, you can put them in the cup holders. Now moving down to the armrest, the armrest is actually quite large. So, there's a lot of space. So my partner actually tried and put her bag in it and it actually fit. And obviously below the entire center console thing, you have more storage space at the bottom with a couple of charging ports. Overall, everything just looks great, guys. I mean, again, for someone who hasn't owned a Proton in many years, it's looking really amazing. Alright, so moving on, you do have some nice touches on the seats as well. They do feel very comfortable. One beef that I have with some cars is that they always use those rubbery kind of like fake leather. So those kind of seats are like your iPhone casings, the silicone case that you use for 6 months, 8 months. They start to get a bit rubbery, very grippy, and they don't feel that great. So I hope this material isn't that kind of material. It feels good. I even went and sit at the back and you could see that, I'm 175 cm. There's still a couple of decent space for your room, for your headroom. Notice that my hair obviously is a bit high up, so can't really count that. It's almost equivalent to one fist. And if you just take a look at the legroom as well, it's actually very comfortable. So again, I'm not trying to push the car or anything. Obviously, I'm not a car media as well, but the car was really impressive, the X50. Yeah, last but not least, moving on to the boot space, it was also fairly large. I think it's very similar to the one before. Overall, just a very impressive first impressions look at the brand new X50. Again, if you told me like many years back when I first got my car that for under 100k, in fact, even under 90,000, you could get a car of these kind of specifications. Obviously, the one I'm looking at is a flagship, but the executive themselves looks very promising. I wouldn't believe myself they could get this kind of thing. So yeah, that's the goal of today's video, to share with you what I see. And again, I'm not a car media. I can say whatever I want, even if I don't like it. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.